Well, our focus is YouTube, Facebook for social. We have activity from the merch-related stores like iTunes. We have stuff from Rekochoku way over in Japan. Our focus is on integrating all those platforms, all of the networks are places where you would be monetizing. So that if we're working with a particular network or a particular distributor, or even a particular talent that actually just wants to go out and manage this themselves, we can bring in income, we can bring in activity, measuring engagement and audience performance, content performance, making sure that those policies that Matthew was talking about are actually enforced, making sure that claims against user-generated uploads are still generating income, because you still have licensing activity happening in that case, making sure ancillary rights related to things like audio portion of video content, making sure that public performance rights, those sorts of things are actually considered and managed so that you have the full spectrum of rights. I think you mentioned that earlier, covered when you're exploiting the content. Our approach has always been an open approach when it comes to integration. We are no respecter of technologies in particular. We don't really care about any particular API. We invested in technology to make sure the integrations will work, whether it be API driven, whether it be through binary interfaces, whether it be through data interfaces, to make sure that we can get the activity on behalf of the distributor or on behalf of the content owner in order to be able to, first of all, measure what's happening, secondly, make sure that it's accurate, and then thirdly, be able to cause the settlement to occur. Other piece of our solution, which is really around robust partner management, is really kind of already in place. The idea that a deal can be a rev share has never been something that we've seen stay in place very long. The moment that a particular talent starts trending, the deal structure is going to change. There's going to be advances and recoupments, there's going to be goal-based deals, there's going to be look-back, there's going to be tiered pricing, you name it. There's going to be territory-specific pricing for certain uses. There's going to be, as Matthew was talking about, additional content created from original base content, clips in this case, whereas in the audio world you're talking about mashups, where you have portions of songs being used. And it is very interesting to see the way in which companies will figure out where the real value is and how that value will actually move between parties. But yeah, we're specifically focused on partner management.
You have a question?
We express it in monthly revenues. We've seen $400,000 or $500,000 a month. We've seen as little as
per piece of content or per collection?
No, per partner. Per partner. But we've seen a particular partner with a particular piece of content generate several $100,000 on a continued basis until, of course, that dies down and a new piece of content takes its place. We've also seen zero.
Sure.
We've seen millions of views and zero be the resulting revenues because there's no monetization activity. Our platform points out opportunities, where audiences are interested. Maybe the classification is wrong. Maybe there's overgeneralization of the content itself, and so you're missing out on the programmatic advertising dollars that are there. Maybe there's been no focus for integrated marketing or product placements and those kinds of opportunities. Maybe you just haven't been pushing.
So I'm Gabe. Well, do you help them see that?
We do. We give them visibility, and we also give them comparative metrics so they can understand if there's. We wouldn't presume to know that what's best for our clients, but we make sure they have the widest view of what's happening, and they give them comparative metrics across their network and outside of their network so that they can make the best decision in terms of investments. The interesting thing about that decision-making process, though, is, and I think Matthew's alluding to this too. I mean, I'm using you a lot today. That's right. But the interesting thing about it is that the talent actually is involved in this decision-making, or let's just say the content owner or content creator. If they're not going to really get behind it, if they're not going to really help promote it, I think that was a question: how do you really, get people to watch? Well, they're the people who are actually wanting to be watched, or the people who are creating the content are their best advocates for the content in the first place. So getting the talent to be a part of that process has always been critical. exposing that there are opportunities is what we help them do.
One more question.